up, guys? As you can probably tell, I am no longer in Australia. I have made it back to England, and more specifically, the Lake District, or Honnister Pass. Is that where we are?
That's the one.
Honnister Pass. Basically, I got a little bit homesick, so I've rocked on back, and there's nothing more English than the Lake District for me. So I've come back, going to do a little bit of a mini-series as well. I just want to say thank you so much. That the likes and comments on the last video, you know, the sort of day in the life one, were hugely appreciated. And it works really well for me because I'm training so much at the minute, and it just means that I can train and we just film, and I don't really have to prep. I think I'm going to turn around here. I don't really have to prep all that much. I don't really know where I'm going, so bear with me. So with that said, I messaged James, the massive man legend who's holding the camera.
What's up?
What's up? And Jacob, who's sitting in the back, who's an absolute weapon on the fells. And I was swimming so much in Australia. Obviously, I had a few projects that didn't quite work out because of the floods. So I'm very swimming fit right now. But now I've got to almost sort of stop being so swim fit. That kind of recovery although I don't want to do a recovery mesocycle, so I don't really want to completely take my foot off the gas. So sort of an element of cross training. We were talking about this earlier, weren't we, as well, James? About like a lot like John Alban, for instance, or Killian, you know, when they'll have their running season and then their cross country skiing.
Switch to skiing, yeah.
That's kind of what I'm doing, but more swimming and fell running. That makes sense. All that said, I think we're going to call this kind of like a mini series, maybe 48 hours in the fells. And the goal is to enjoy just training to train again. So it's kind of this recovery / base mesocycle where just general physical preparedness, just kind of running, swimming, eating, and just enjoying training again, training to train. So that's the goal right now. With all of that said, I'm told that Jacob is an absolute Spartan on the descents. So we might try and find some scree. Is that right, Jacob?
Yeah, I think so.
And then just throw ourselves down it.
As fast as we can.
Jacob, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but because there's different schools of thought when you practice descents, isn't there? And on scree, a lot of people say the more time you're in the air, the safer you are.
The faster the safer.
Well, yeah, as fast as you are. I mean, you know, the less your feet are touching the ground, the more you're in the air, the less time, you know, things can go wrong. But you need to keep your body weight, similar to when you're skiing, you need to keep your body weight forward. If you're leaning backwards, your feet are just going to come out from underneath you and you'll end up on your ass. But if you keep your body weight pushing forward and let gravity go with you, then you'll just fly down. And it's the closest you'll get to feeling like you're flying.
Unless you actually do fly.
Unless you actually do, yeah, fly.
And then Carlisle Hospital is about a 40-minute drive.
It's going to feel a very long time when your femur's sticking out your skin.
But this is what I love, in all seriousness. I love fell running. I'm awful at it, but I always love coming to the Lake District because it's just this sport, this culture. It's like the history and the heritage. There's all these kind of like rules and methods, and I'm awful at it, but I always love it because I use running as a form of conditioning. I'm not actually a runner. I'm awful at it, but I love it. So it's just, yeah, I kind of love dipping in and out as a bit of a tourist. And I don't know. I think my ego's probably going to hurt more than my legs today. So with all of that said, we're going to find some scree, throw ourselves down it, based on the teachings of Jacob and James, and then we might do some hill sprints as well.
Yeah, we'll get maybe a little hill session in, and then we'll just see how much we're hurting and go get some food. I think
food, sleep, swim.
Yeah,
Wish
yeah.
us luck.
Great success. Right, so this, correct me if I'm wrong, Jacob, this is scree.
This is proper scree, yeah.
Proper scree.
Proper scree.
What is scree? I know this is going to sound a stupid question.
Well, it's just loads of small bits of rock in it come off the side of a fell. So, and that, you know, if it was snow, it's that sort of thing, you know, similar to like skiing with powdery snow. It's powdery mountain. So think of it like that.
It's powdery mountain.
Powdery mountain.
So, because this is the thing, if you're going to set a record, a speed record, scree is your friend because you can throw yourself down it.
Yeah. It's relatively, normally, it's, you know, if you get nice fine bits of scree, like on there, it'll be really soft. So it'll all slide with you, so it comes you know, you get the whole momentum and everything's going in one direction, all coming down together.
So we could get
cool. It sounds really awesome as well, because it's all like, it sounds like musical notes, as it's all like tinkling down with you.
So we could get a 100-metre record today. We go like, bang, that's got to be 100 metres there to there. Top there, down.
Top to bottom.
I reckon you can do that. And what do you saying do it in?
What was that,
969 or something, or 9
something.
You throw yourself down there.
Gravity is your friend.
This is it. Okay,
Let's give it a go.
Right, should we head up that way?
Just found a vertebrae from someone that tried scree running before and has obviously died. What just happened?
Floated.
Man took off.
It's fell runner that came down here.
Don't tell me that.
That's the state he ended up in.
We didn't get him to hospital in time.
No, he's 1,000 pieces at the bottom, just scattered around.
I don't know about this. Doesn't feel like a good omen. Doesn't feel like one.
Dead bodies scattered on the hillside.
Dead bodies.
Means a good day.
Yeah.
Right, Jacob, give me like a idiot's guide to scree running descents.
Well, scree running, same as any sort of downhill running, when you're in race mode, is very much just direct. So it'll very much be, I want to get from A to B as fast as I can. So most things, when you're coming downhill, are quicker when everything's going forward. And that's very much, you want your momentum to be carrying you forward at all times. So often like the stream down there with water, it'll always find the most direct and easiest route for it to go down, which is kind of what you want to imagine. So you want to have like a fluid motion, you want everything to be always working forward, so you're not keeping your body weight back, because if you're keeping your weight on your heels, you know, you're just going to end up going back on your ass. If you're too far forward, you're going to be going down like Eddie the Eagle kind of thing. So you have to find that balance of leaning forward but not too far forward, and you know, so everything's coming out. So a lot of people sit their arms out like aeroplanes just to give them a little bit more balance, but it's very much a personal thing of how fast can I get down here, and I want to move my body in as economical, you know, state as I can to get down the hill faster.
So there's almost like the philosophy of fell running. I love you said, like, you know, be like water.
Be like water, yeah.
Bruce Lee, just, you know, and how whatever expression your body gives, if your hands just embrace it.
You see it in fell running trods, don't you? Like the paths that fell runners make alongside the sort of human-made paths. They flow, they like move around the rocky sections through the smooth bits, and it is like a rivulet of water, and you end up following that.
There's certainly no aggressive zigzags, you know, it just wants to just go nice and smoothly all the way down.
So if you're zigzagging and you're forcing it, something's probably wrong. But if you're floating, you're probably... This feels...
But at the end of the day, it is purely about how big your balls are. And being brave.
Genuinely.
It takes a lot of guts to stand here and just go, right, ready, steady, go.
I love that, because people talk about like your anaerobic threshold, you know, what's your VO2, and it's like, no, how big are your genitals?
Yeah, my VO2 max would be terrible. My balls, they are mighty.
I love this. Right, okay, cool. What, shall we do a few reps?
We'll do a few reps just so you can get a bit
warmed
of practice in.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it is very much just 3, 2, 1, go, and you just go.
Just like that, yeah.
Oh, that was poetic. It just skipped. It was playful.
It didn't look like it took any effort.
No, I want to sort of zigzag. I feel that's kind of like, that's a little safer.
Safer, but it's slower. Might not even be safer. It's just slower.
Found a sheep's vertebrae. Right, so just a big step to begin with, and then just go.
Yeah, just ease into it.
Ease into it.
Look where my first step went to.
Yeah, there.
His first step was probably about what you're doing in an Olympic long jump final, because it was 50% downhill.
I don't think you really think about it much, do you? That one there.
Whoa!
That's not bad, that. That's not bad.
He's going to give me a run for his money.
Yeah, he is. That's quick.
Oh dear.
He's not. I guess take back up as well.
Tough getting back up. That is, that's like a treadmill.
Yeah.
Okay, that was, yeah.
Good start. Good start.
Oh.
Good start.
More steps, bigger steps.
Well, it's what you're comfortable with. If you notice when you got to the end and it gets a bit harder, you did look like you shit yourself a bit. So, you know, you have to just keep that momentum going forward. So it is all, obviously the lower down we get, the bigger the rocks are. So you will have to slow down eventually. But, you know, again, if you've got the momentum going with you, you just almost dance over the top of it. When you do a really long scree descent and you can hear all the music, you know, the musical notes of the scree trickling down with you, it's just like a symphony. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
You make it sound nice, but I'm pretty sure I have to change my underwear. Do you reckon I can go that quick?
I go faster than that. We could have Ross Edgley versus a boulder.
Yeah, I know. Okay, that feels pretty good. Higher?
Yeah, we'll go start higher up.
Yeah, this is nice. I do see what you mean about the sound now.
Yeah, I mean, but, like, well, we're all full on bear mode.
Well, that's the only way I can get up. My quads! Swimming's much easier.
This man's legs are, you see every single muscle in his legs.
Hamstrings look like a horse.
The hardest part of running on scree, I find, is transitioning from going off hard, rough ground and grass to then actually getting onto the scree. Because you always have that moment where you're just going over the edge and you're like, oh, here we go. But then once you're 2 or 3 steps into it, that's when you let go and you just allow yourself to flow down. But yeah, those first couple of steps are a bit scary.
This is what I mean. It's a different sport. Like people, I know it's running, but it's not, is it? It's a whole different sport to say just like running a marathon on a road.
Yeah, and it's you know, trail running is completely different to trail running as well. You know, a lot of the time we're not on paths. You know, we'll be on sheep trods or the race has been on for that long that you're just following where people have gone in the past. You know, there is no path on here at all. But if it was on a race, you know, everyone would just gun straight down it. So it is very much, you have to find your own way, and certainly with fell running, going to do a recce, so going around the route beforehand is absolutely vital, because you learn, you know, what is the nicest way through this bit where there is no path in sight. And then in your head you remember, you know, little landmarks and nail it from that point.
So with all of that said, I mean, that's quick. That's quick.
That was pretty quick.
I see that, like, you can make up so much time.
The weird thing is, you get it right, you get down to the bottom and you've actively recovered. Wow. It gives your muscles, because you're not resisting it. When you resist it, you get to the bottom and you've added to your impact load of the whole race. And so the trick is, let gravity do it. Let go, lean into it, and you get to the bottom and it's like your legs have had that 30 seconds, boom, go again. But it takes every ounce to go to that point, because all your body is, your mind is saying, back off, slow down, put the brakes on, but that does more damage. What are we doing here?
What? I think I've got most of Honnister Pass in my shoe. Is that good or a bad thing if you get it in your shoe?
It's saying you've had a good day.
Is that indicative of good technique?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, this feels good.
Commitment, indicative of commitment.
Is that what it is?
You've been up to your ankles in, what you called it, Powdery Mountain?
Powdery Mountain.
Powdery Mountain.
You were saying it's not just speed, it's recovery.
Yeah, so in a race, you know, often it's the downhill that actually do the most damage. So that sense of when you're running downhill and you're trying to brake on harder ground, your resistance of your descent while your muscle is being elongated, you're trying to contract it. That does more damage, more destruction to those muscles that you then need for the next climb. And so when you're doing a race and you find a section of scree, if you know what you're doing with it, it's a chance to get a free pass to the bottom of the hill without that destruction, because gravity and that slope and the way you run down it just carries you to the bottom without having your muscles smashed to bits. So it's very much a tactical thing as well. It's not just like, oh, this is fun. It's actually a way of saving a bit of energy and a bit of power for push later on.
What you want to be at.
That's what I mean. It's not even just stamina, it's strategy. That's what I love. The way that you guys like systematically break down a race, a mountain, a fell. Amazing.
Yeah, you're not just battering yourself against it. It is you're kind of getting to know it and then working with it.
Yeah.
Like running smarter, not running harder.
Ah, both. It's got to be hard. It's not hard, it's not fun, eh?
Right, that felt good. That was better. But I see what you mean towards the end there. Yeah, like heart was going a little bit, and again, need to change my underwear.
How many sets did you bring?
Is that how many World Obstacle Racing Championships have you won?
3.
Oh, I do apologise.
I was part of a team, but technically 3. Yeah.
I do apologise. So the tips right there were from 3-time World Obstacle Racing Team Champion. James, and tough guy winner. Even though you got hypothermia.
Even though I got hypothermia.
Almost proved yourself.
Just Jacob Thompson. Legend in my own backyard.
I have no qualifications. Right, okay.
Alright,
I'll
shall we?
your lead, but just giant kahunas again.
Muchos grandes.
Muchos grandes.
Alright, shall we? 3, 2, 1, go for it.
It's only because I thought you were going to overtake me. I was like, no, he's not having this.
You shall not pass.
There are levels.
There are levels.
That was fast. You floated for a bit. Just like that. It's just like this.
He's been keeping his powder dry, I think.
You were the real champion there. How did you do that with the camera?
You guys dropped me a bit. Yeah, we've come a long way down there. That might be 100 metres.
You think?
Yeah. We look like we're only halfway back up. That's where the bloody bag is, up there.
Time the next one.
Yeah.
And try and get a measurement.
Yeah, I'll time it. Yeah.
You do like on Top Gear and put wet.
But I worry that it will be this. It will track this, not this. Yeah, do you see what I mean?
Yeah. So if it was a box, you'd be looking at one side of the box, and in reality we're doing the diagonal across the box, which is inevitably further. Yeah. I mean, it could be a world record 150 metres then.
So from the top maybe it's 100 metres.
Where's
Jacob, we might be going for an unofficial 100-metre world record here. Do you feel you can do it? We're backing it. I think from there to there. So we're going to do this, time it, and then go on Google Earth and see if we can get some metrics.
Well, what's the slope? I mean, if that's, let's say I've got the camera about level now, that's got to be about a 35-40% grade. It's not 45, it's not half the way, but we can use that to work out if it's flat 50, but we're going up 45%, we know it's going to be somewhere near 85-90 metres. Unless my maths is absolutely. Someone somewhere who's a mathematician, call me out. I haven't done Pythagoras in about
Get Brian Cox on the phone.
20 years. I think Frodo's up there with Sam somewhere.
It does feel like Mordor, doesn't it? Mordor.
One does not simply walk into Mordor, one must scree run their way down.
We think here, there.
With a bit of mass when we get back, we'll work out what that is, but I think it's worth getting the time on it, and then we'll see later if we should just not have said anything, or if we should actually be secretly signed by Nike.
The Nike scree runners.
Nike scree runners, fastest mile in the world.
Okay.
Fastest mile, 100 metres.
I mean, I think you've got this. I fully think you've got this.
That's what these legs are for.
Cumbrian beef.
Fuck you now, look at that!
Where till I get the Cumberland sausage out?
To be continued.
It's a different video.
Third most sexy man in Keswick, as voted by 4 people. My mum, my dad, my girlfriend.
She told me she voted for someone else, mate.
She probably did.
Yeah, but a crash course, street running, world record. If I do this, I'll have the world record until he does it.
Yeah,
So I'll be a world record holder for
16 seconds.
moment.
Hey, you've got enough world records with your bloody 5-month-long swim. Leave someone for the rest of us.
So I'll time it, but you're timing it as well.
Yeah, we'll get it off the vid too. All right, go. Yep. So 12.96. I'm feeling pretty confident, Jacob. Unleash the Cumbrian cannons. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Yep. 11, he reckons, Jacob. Right, we'll have to independently corroborate this, and I'm just going to wait here for 10 minutes till they get back up.
That was an idiot's guide to screen running. I'm not gonna lie, because I haven't used my legs for ages, they were like buckling towards the end. I don't mind admitting, that was a novel movement. That's weird, you wouldn't say fell running's a strength exercise, but my legs beg to differ.
Yeah, well, it isn't, but it is at the same time, you know. You end up absolutely knackered. There's nothing like the day after a hard race, trying to go up and down stairs. You just can't do it because your legs are battered.
Because they say you put like 4 to 5 times your own body weight through each foot when you're sprinting.
Yeah.
More on a descent. So it's almost like a weighted, eccentric pistol squat for reps.
Yeah. Over and over and over again.
For 3 hours.
3 hours at a time.
Nice. Right.
You get quads like these sometimes.
That is actually a good point, isn't it?
It is.
So that is it. It's just eccentric contractions. That's
Pretty
just with like, I suppose, like metabolic stress.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Because the body just understands forces, it's just physics. But if I ever was like, right, we're going to do a leg session and we're going to do 3 hours of eccentric pistol squat, weighted pistol squat, you'd go, that's a terrible session. That's essentially what we've just done. But with all of that said, I reckon now, hill sprint somewhere?
We've gone downhill somewhere, so
Have you got anywhere good? Because this is your backyard.
yeah, we'll go down the valley and head over to Randale Knots, I think. Randale Knots. Yeah.
That sounds nice. Scenic?
Beautiful.
Did I hear something about bluebells?
Yeah, there's bluebells there as well at the moment.
Hey, there's also a massive steep hill. That's what we're really here for.
So we can enjoy some bluebells while we're coughing.
It's not all flowers.
Between reps. We'll go flower pressing.
So my legs hate me right now, but with all of that said, that was descents done. Now we're going to go and find some bluebells, do some hill sprints. It's probably going to be the first vlog in 48 hours in the fells. Now on to number 2.